So it says we are now broadcasting live. So I'm assuming we're live. It says we are, so we must be.
Hello, Gun Nation.
YouTube does not lie. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Three Guys Gun Chat with all three guys here tonight. Surprise.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, how are thee tonight?
Doing pretty well. Can't complain.
Yep. I'm living the dream as long as you don't wake me up.
Fantastic. Boy, Big J, that's some big hair you got going on right now.
Yeah. Don't be a hater. Take your hat off.
No, I haven't shaven it, so it looks really bad. Look at this.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
it's getting gray.
Put your hat back on.
Every day.
Shit, it's not as gray as mine.
It's New York just sucks the life out of you.
There you
go. So what's going on, tool bags? What's going on? What have you guys been up to?
Just working. Lots of gun stuff. Some new things coming out. We ought to be talking about this evening at some point in time. Yeah, it's different every week, man. It's a different adventure every week.
Yep.
Very good.
Same here. Different adventure, different day.
That's right.
Very good. Yeah, I've been laying low. I haven't really done anything, and I don't plan on it either. Actually, I got to get some things done. I got I posted a picture of the APX Centurion, so pretty excited about that one. That I think might be an absolute keeper for me. I think it's the perfect size APX. So I'm looking forward to that. The Centurion, I think, is going to be a nice gun, but we'll see.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. I was saying if I had done it right, I would have done the Centurion over the Compact because it really does feel good in the hand.
Yeah, it does. It really just fits the bill in regards to size and everything. So we'll see how it shoots. But I'm pretty excited for it. I think it's going to be a really nice gun. Which brings me to another interesting development. So if you guys have been watching the Beretta stuff, they're saying something big is coming on April 15th. And not to like rain on anybody's parade, but I think we have all at one point or another speculated, and I know that Poe is in here, so Poe sent me that link to the video, which I was able to see, and I think he and I were the only two who actually saw it, and we were made fun of relentlessly by people saying we were crazy. But April 15th, the APX single stack is coming out. At least that's what we're hearing. So what do you guys think about that?
I bet it's all lies.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's a fallacy.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
I'm making it up.
I think anytime you can bring, a different option that people may want to the marketplace, that's not a bad thing. Now, me personally, I wouldn't get it, but I know a lot of people would. So I think it's, just another choice out there.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, KS, about that?
Say it again. I'm sorry. My chair was starting to fall. This thing's actually dying, I think. So anyway, say it again.
Dying, your chair?
Well, so I've had this office chair for a really long time, and I think the hydraulic is finally dying.
So we're going to see it shrink.
Every once in a while, it just starts to lower a little bit, and it's quite irritating, actually.
So yeah, the APX single stack, man. What are your thoughts on that?
I'd love to try it. I was a fan of the APX. I like the Compact as well. I never did do the Centurion. I should have, but couldn't do all three. But the single stack, I'd love to try because I'd love to put it against the Shield and the new Mossberg, and I'd like to see in the 43X, and I'd like to see how it stacks up.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a nice entry, and from what I'm hearing, it's going to be 10-round capacity, so that's going to be interesting to see just how big this single stack is. Is it going to be more in the Glock 48 realm or what? But I think it's going to be kind of interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, music, it will be a striker fire. She's asked a couple of times if you're talking about a striker fire.
Yes, the APX is a striker fired handgun, as will be the single stack. So yes.
Yeah, like I said, I think that, I think people are going to buy it. I mean,
I know I'm going to buy it.
I agree with, with Romans. I still think that, CZ ought to make a single stack, and who knows if the single stack stuff takes off, maybe they really, maybe they eventually will.
Yeah. Probably. Why not?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just bring something else to the marketplace, because you don't know how it's going to be accepted until you actually, like, even if you just said, hey, we're thinking about coming out with this, and just kind of sneaked it out there And then all of a sudden people were like, take my money, take my money, take my money. And then you're like, then they could be like, you know what? We see a marketplace for it, so we need to make it. Or, you know.
Well, I think if any manufacturer just makes a damn gun with a trigger and bullets that come out of it, I think people will buy it. You know, I think it's safe to assume that if you want to invest in something, invest in gun stocks, because there are always going to be people who buy them. Yeah. You know, it doesn't matter what they are.
Yeah. And there's loyal followers, you know, like someone who has, you know, the APX full size, and maybe they have the compact, maybe they'll, you know, want the single stack. I mean, you know, kind of like Glock, there's people who are just loyal to certain gun brands. So loyalty is not a bad thing either.
Right.
Not a bad thing at all. Harry wants to know where he can see the APX compact.
You can't yet. There was a video that was posted about a month ago, maybe longer. And it was funny because I was at work and I get this frantic text message from Poe saying, dude, you got to check this out. Check it out. So I check it out, and he's like, you know, told me the timestamp and everything. And I swear to God, the guy was shooting a single stack APX. And then sure enough, I guess Poe left a comment and they took the video down right away. So there was not a lot of people who saw it, but I definitely saw it. And, you know, it was pretty cool. So that's the only time anybody has seen it. Yeah. So it's going to be released on the 15th. You know, they sent out this thing. It was like a video of, you know, somebody in bed with his wife and in the house, and everything was locked up and the alarm goes off. So it's going to be interesting to see how they actually market this. Because honestly, I think Beretta has never really done, from what I've seen, never really done a really good job marketing their guns.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is a testament to the PX4, which I think we could agree is a fairly good gun, but not very well marketed in a lot of ways. And so it kind of fell by the wayside. And the APX, I think we could agree also, is a very good handgun, but yet it never really reached that level of market, I guess, acknowledgement, which is weird because it is a good, solid handgun.
Yeah.
I would say the 92, they've been riding that one for a long
time. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, and you know, there's a you know, like even like HK, I mean, there's a lot of manufacturers who just don't get in the advertising game because they're like, oh, we've got the business. So they just, you know, that's like second, you know, that's like third or fourth on their level to worry about. So there are a lot of them that do that.
Pistol Pete's asking, does it come with a Caracol? You know, that it's another gun that I just, you know, I don't understand it. You know, you have all these pictures of it and you're saying it's going all over the place and people are shooting with it and loving it, but then it never like comes to fruition. I don't understand it.
You know, it's funny, as I was curious the other day about that, you know, I went back and, you know, I did that video at NRA where I went to the Caracol booth and stuff and was talking to the guys, and I shot that video. So I had the gun in my hand, pulling the trigger and all that stuff. And then, you know, I did a bunch of different booths that day and filmed the high point booth views blew the Caracol out of the water. And I was like, wow. And I was kind of walking around the high point booth, just kind of joking around because they had like stickers on their gun. And it had this orange grip on one of the high points, and I was like, "Ooh, Shadow 2 killer," and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember that. I think the thing with High Point is it's kind of got that cult, you know, following. It's like it's like the worst B horror movie you've ever seen, but everybody's seen it, and I think that is a High Point.
Well, and I mean, you know, people who have them say, you know, they work. You know, I know a guy that has many of them in all of his wreckers, and they work.
Yeah, and negative press is still press.
Yeah,
that's right. And people are still buying them, so something's got to be working.
Yeah, yeah. They, you know, all you needed to do is go bang.
So the other thing is, as many gun fans probably know, the Border Patrol actually just approved a new Glock for their officers, and they're going to be carrying Glock 47s. So we were talking a little bit about it before we went live. And I guess this gun is, you know, from what I read, it's kind of the same grip as a, you know, 19X45, whatever you want to call it, obviously without this little bottom piece here. But then I guess the slide is a little bit longer than a 17 slide with an optic ready slide to it. So what do you guys think about something like that? I know, have you guys seen the picture of it yet or no?
I have, yeah.
Yeah,
you know, what are your thoughts?
I mean, to me personally, it's just a MOS, probably 34 length. I mean, I doubt it's a 17L, but, you know, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, hell, more velocity, more sight radius. I think it's a good option.
I want to see it up close. And we were talking about this a little bit before. I'm having a hard time finding out or seeing exactly what the specs are. So I would be curious to know what it really is, because if it's just a 17L, it's a 17L. If it's a 34, it's a 34. But they're calling it the 47. So I want to know everything about it as much as I can.
Yeah.
I mean, with a longer grip, I think it has, a great opportunity. Some people, the 17 regular grip is fine, but I find that I really like the 19X grip, just having that little bit of extra tang. But you said it won't have the tang, but I don't think it could be a bad thing.
Yeah, I'm just trying to read if I can find dimensions on this thing, and I can't find anything. I'm looking at a picture right now. It just looks like a really long 17L. That's all it looks like with the new Gen 5 bodies on them.
It's weird though. On one of the forums, it's got it, and it's also got a picture of a 19 and a 26, and it's got the 26 with the front serrations, the 19, and then the 47. And the 47 in pictures, those they could be totally fake.
Sure.
But if it's real, it does not look anywhere near. So it doesn't look as long as a 34 or a 17L. It's just hard to tell.
If you think about it, they have the 45 out, which is a 4-inch barrel. It's probably, since they came out with 47, it's probably a damn 17, or, just maybe a tad longer, but it's probably more of a 17,
Right. And then also, go ahead, Yes.
Well, I was just going to say, Hurt One is saying 19 length frame with 17 mag length with 17 slide, from what he knows. So that would be interesting. I don't know why they would do a 19 frame with a 17 mag coming with it. That seems a little bit odd. But
what are they going to give a sleeve with that, or what are they going to do?
Well, I don't know. But doing the 19 length frame, I'll tell you, that's what a lot of civilians would want to see. Law enforcement, I don't think it would make as much sense for. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I don't necessarily buy into that. I'm looking at it right now with the Border Patrol stamp on top of it, and it looks like a 17 grip length, not a 19. You can tell it's longer. It just looks like a big 17. That's what it looks like. Now,
basically, it's this gun right here.
Well, I wonder if you can take that 47 slide and drop it on a 19 frame.
Probably.
That'd be kind of sweet.
Right.
So who knows? Glock, as much as people like to rip Glock because they don't really have anything new, they seem to sell everything they actually put out, which is kind of interesting,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what they put out. They could put out a big fart with a trigger on it, and people would buy it because it says Glock.
Well, that plus they've got tons of military contracts. They got police contract. They've got it pretty much locked in on that stuff.
Yep.
Sheck is saying it's a Glock 42 with a 17L slide. That's what people have been asking for. Obviously.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and Post saying 17 grip length, 19 frame length, 17 length. What the hell? Does that even make sense to anybody? That makes no sense to me at all.
Well, so a shorter frame length, which makes no sense. That does nothing. A 17 length slide also takes a 19 slide. So basically, it's a 17 with a chopped off frame. If that's what you're implying there, and fine. I don't know. There's no advantage to that, in my opinion. There's.
Right. So I just got some insider news here. So it's a 45 frame, 17 slide MOS with an altered barrel and lug to accommodate slide changes for a Gen 5 19S or 19s, I guess.
Okay.
That's interesting. Let's see who's going to buy it first. I'm not. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait. And I don't even know they're not even offering it to the public anyway, as far as I know. This is going right to the Border Patrol. So
it probably will come out eventually.
It will come out very quickly, I'm sure. They're not stupid. They make a lot of money off the public.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, selling a $200 gun for $500.
Wait, did you say it's a $200 gun for $500?
I was joking. For the military contracts and the police, the big chunks they sell. I have a buddy of mine that as a buyer for the Dallas Police Department, and he's told me some of the prices they get these guns for.
Interesting.
I'm like, holy crap! But they buy, they don't just buy 10. They buy pallets of them.
Now, Who said this? Hold on. It says Harry is saying Border Patrol might have some oddball use, which is, it kind of brings up a good point. I mean, does the Patrol really need that? An optics ready, big giant gun like that? I mean, is that something they really need? Are they more apt to use rifles? I don't know. It's kind of weird. Do they really need that gun?
Well, I mean, hell, it's kind of like a military setup, and trust me, parts of the Border Patrol, especially like in the El Paso area with Juarez, it's pretty much like the desert.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can have the extra length and velocity and an MOS, not a bad thing.
It's true.
So I think it's better to have more gun than you'll ever need and have less gun than you might need.
Right.
So plus they look cool on the hip when they walk around with them.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what matters.
Yeah. But yeah, there was let's see here. There was Music had a question from earlier that I kind of wanted to ask because I think it's actually a really great question. And we were kind of commenting back and forth on it, but is basically the polymer guns taken over the steel guns? Like if you had your choice, or like what you shoot, or why you buy what you buy, is it more steel or more polymer, and why?
I think polymer has the advantage because it's cheaper,
Mm-hmm.
and as long as you can make it cheaper and get the cost down, which means the price to the consumer is lower, I think polymer will always be supreme right now. I mean, obviously there's the niche market, whatever you want to call it, where people want steel and only steel, or metal guns like an alloy gun. But I think polymer will always have the majority of our market because it's cheaper. I mean, I can't see a P01 being $400. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an aluminum alloy. I can't see a Shadow 2 being $850, So I think as long as the polymer stays cheap, people will still buy them.
Yeah. What do you think, Cass?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Now, I like steel, I like polymer, I like alloy. It doesn't matter to me. I enjoy shooting them all. But from a practicality standpoint, I'm looking at a P80 Glock 19 and an SP01 right now. I'd rather shoot the SP01. I have more fun shooting it at the range. But the cost, not necessarily of a P80, but just a polymer firearm, the ease of maintenance. There are a lot of advantages that polymer firearms have, whether that's good or bad. I mean, not defending them one way or the other, but yeah, and that's what the public really sees most of the time too. If you go out and you look at, let's say we did a statistical analysis of YouTube videos on guns, how many are going to be Glocks and Smith & Wesson M&Ps and SIG P320s and that sort of thing versus a CZ SP01 or any number of alloy firearms? I bet the number would be dramatically different. Now I'm guessing, I could be totally wrong, but I think it's, that's what people know. It's and they're more readily available, and it's cheaper for gun stores to get them in too.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, my point on it is definitely I think polymer is supreme because of cost. And, a lot of people who carry guns, they don't necessarily want to carry a 2.5 pound gun.
Right.
Some it doesn't bother, some it's fine. Especially depending on if you carry inside waistband, outside waistband, some it really plays a part there. But, again, the ease of purchasing, the ease of carrying them, the cost, I think that they're always going to be superior in purchases over a stainless or, something like that. But I think as, a collector, now, if you would have asked me this 30 years ago, I would have said steel because of all the revolvers, all the 1911s. It's kind of how everything goes in a circle or changes because it was totally different back in the day. Everybody carried steel guns. And if they wanted a lighter steel gun, then they carried a snub nose 38. That was a version of a light gun back then. And of course, Glock, kind of opened that up. And, now I just kind of think it's, the polymer, as people say, the polymer wonder gun or, Tupperware gun, stuff like that.
Again, it's like anything else, though. You would know this probably better than us too, but it's even like with cars,
Yep.
Cars now are not being manufactured by heavy steel anymore. Now it's a lot of aluminum. They have different materials they're using, carbon fiber inside the, inside the cab. So, it's you know, and is it less reliable? I mean, I don't know. I mean, aluminum for a bed on a pickup truck like Ford, I wouldn't get. But, you know, at the same time, you know, my Jeep has aluminum door panels. That's why I can lift them off with one hand with no problem.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, would you rather have a steel car over, you know, something a little bit lighter, a little bit more efficient, but also can take the impacts of an accident? I think it's like anything else. You know, when you modernize things, you get better at it. So for me, a polymer gun to me is as good as any steel or aluminum alloy or whatever alloy you're using in regards to a handgun. It's going to be as reliable. It's going to be easier to maintain, I think, over the long term. And if, let's say, you break your frame, if you want to replace the frame, it's going to cost a hell of a lot less than replacing a steel frame.
Well, and, you know, relating it to cars, when you know, it's not about the outer body of the vehicle, it's about the crumple zone. And, you know, it's how you extrude that aluminum or that steel. And you can take, you know, if it's a thin sheet, it's going to dent in. But if it's extruded and it allows for that crumple area and the compression on it, that's how you get strength in it. I mean, a huge example is aircraft wings. They're not steel,
Right.
You know, they're aluminum and
Got to bend a little bit,
but it can hold, you know. And what's really crazy, and a lot of people don't know this, and I've actually seen it in person, you know, the aircraft wings, when you're flying in the air, those wings will actually flex 18 feet up or down. No one knows that, but they will. And
That's
it's
fun.
really crazy when you watch it, especially in slow motion on the camera. It looks like the wings are doing this, and it's freaky. You think they're going to break off.
I don't want to talk about that. I'm flying this summer, and I hate flying. So I'm going to be on a lot of drugs and a lot of alcohol on that.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
I might actually record it so everybody can see it, because it's going to be
don't worry about it. But, you know, okay, let me freak you out a little bit more, because all the fuel tanks are held.
All right, that's enough. Let's move on to the next topic. Shut the hell up. So just want to say thank you, West Coast Chicano, for giving us the $2. We appreciate it.
Thanks, brother.
Somebody's saying something about the Walther P99. Italian Browns fan is saying Walther P99 twice. Yes, it is a very excellent handgun indeed. If you can find them, they don't make them anymore, as far as I know, in the full size. You can find a lot of compacts out there, and especially in the 40s, but, you know, full sizes are unicorns now. Oh, Jim Gregory.
Thank you, Gregory. Thanks, brother.
Boy, raking up the dough today. Jeez.
Yeah, we appreciate it, guys.
So, you know, I don't like to talk about flying, because I just have this thing about not wanting to fly. That's basically, I only have really two fears, and one is like on a cruise line. I don't like boats. I don't like going out into the middle of the ocean on a big boat with a lot of people. You know, I saw the Titanic when I was young, so that was what screwed me up in the head. And the whole flying thing, I've flown a lot, but I don't like flying. And so I think this journey that I'm going to take, I'm going to be heavily medicated, and sort of, I'm going to be on a bender. I'm not going to lie.
Well, don't worry. You'll be sharing all that recycled air.
Well, yeah, I know. And you're going to see me on the news, because I'm going to probably be the naked passenger screaming and throwing stuff at
taking his clothes off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we had a question earlier, and I can't remember who asked it, but they were curious about the P10F, you know, and they said that it rattled, or his rattled, and he was worried about it. And I mean, they rattle. You know, that's with the mag in. You take the mag out, it's even louder, but it doesn't affect the accuracy. I mean, reliability, everything's fine with it. So I can't remember who asked that, but I wanted to tell them.
It sounds like maracas.
Yeah, but sucker works.
So Paul Curious is saying his biggest fear, my biggest fear is I guess him bench pressing more than me. Well, I don't know if you could do that. You might have a heart attack, Baldy. I'm not going to lie. I mean that with all love and respect, sir. Plus you're growing that man beard, and it would just, you know, maybe that gives you the extra strength.
I figured he would buy a cat, so the cat, you could put some milk on it, and the cat could lick that stuff off.
Michelangelo, thank you, sir,
Yes.
for $5 for the
KS's fun chair.
That's right. So document that. That comes to me.
All right, I'll send that to you via PayPal in the next year or so, sir.
We'll just buy a seal. We'll just buy a seal for your hydraulic chair, and I'll just replace the seal in it. It's probably about $5 seal.
Listen, if that works for everybody watching, I could use a new room, because I just want to show you. This is the wall here, and the other wall I can touch. So I need to build a new room. So if anybody would like to,
oh God,
maybe there's a contractor out there that'll just
new room fund. There you go. I'm gonna kickstart that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
pretty
soon you'll be outside on the back porch, probably.
What's that?
Pretty soon you'll probably be out on the back porch.
Listen, I've been trying to convince the wife to let me like move out of this room, but she laughed at me and said no.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's how
we
it
should
is,
have a
guys.
room. Some people don't even have a room. So
Yeah, I know, and I'm sure everybody in the audience is saying, "Oh, not in my house." No, you know what happens. Your
Pistol
wife's not
Pete's
around
saying
here.
that's not a room. Pistol Pete says that is not a room.
It's not a room. It's a closet. This is a
Yeah.
closet, guys.
Well, you need to come out of the closet.
You know, it's rather comfortable, but like even behind me, like the door looks like it's right behind me, but I can't reach it. It's a little bit further.
Uh-oh, Sheck Jesus gave you $1.99 towards
All right,
your
that'll buy me one piece of concrete. Thank you, sir, for the footer. I appreciate that.
You can get you a shed, one of those portable sheds.
I want to get like my own independent, place to go, but it's not going to happen.
Yep, Stephen Worth can bench press his fork all day long.
Yeah. So now everybody says I'm in the closet. Yes, guys, I am literally in a closet. Okay.
All right.
Get over it. It's where all the magic happens.
So what else is going on? Anything fun and exciting that y'all are seeing out there?
No, it's been kind of, I don't know, man. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it seems like it's been a little slow lately. Like now you're starting to see little things creep up, obviously with the announcement of the APX and then the 47, whatever it is now, the Glock. I'd be interested to see if there's anything else that's going to come out at the NRA, but I don't suspect it. It's been really slow, and some of the newer guns that they're saying they were going to release, they're all been like delayed a couple of weeks or something like that, but it's been fairly slow.
Well, they've got. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Chaos.
Well, I was going to say, Shield with their longer slide. I mean, I think that's going to be kind of a big thing. Ruger came out with the subcompact, the Security 9, and 704 Tactical. Big Johnson turned me on to that. He just put out a video today or yesterday, whenever it was. I was surprised how small that is. It really is truly the size of a Glock 26. And if you think about it, no one else has really gone that small with a subcompact until you get to the 365, and that's kind of a little bit of a hybrid. So I that's kind of interesting, I suppose.
Yeah, okay, that brings up a valid point. Let's just call this. Now, you shot the regular Security 9. I've only, played with it. I haven't officially shot it. But would you rather have the Security 9 compact or the smaller one, or a Taurus G2?
You're talking to me.
Yes.
Well, I would take the Taurus over the Security 9 any day. I mean, I think the Taurus
really,
or I think it's more ergonomic. I like the grip texture better. I like the trigger better tremendously. The trigger on the Security 9, I was not very impressed with. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't that great. But remember, that's an internal hammer, so it's going to be a heavier trigger no matter what. But it doesn't have double strike capabilities, so it's not a true double action, single action. But I think I like the G2C better.
I would go 100% in the opposite direction as you. I've never shot either one of them, so I'm just going to put that out there. But I did manhandle a couple of them the other day, and the Security 9 is not a bad gun. I don't think it's a bad gun. I think it's a good starter gun for people. Obviously, it's a little more expensive than a Taurus, but I was also handling this other Taurus, and I know you could probably tell me what it is. I don't even know what it was, but it was a G2S. I mean, is that a gun?
There's a G2C, there's a G2S, and that's a single stack version.
Yeah, that I was handling that the other day, and I'm sorry, for all the Taurus people out there, but I just have to say it that the Taurus handgun line is filled with pieces of shit. That's just that's my impression. I've never shot them. But you talk about the trigger; those triggers suck on those guns. I don't know what you're smoking, buddy, but they're horrible. I mean, they're terrible. This G2S that I was dry firing, that trigger pull was so damn long that I think I probably could have stood out the store and still tried to pull it back further. It was just not a good trigger. And the Security S is not, it's not nothing to write home about, but in my opinion, it was a little bit better than that. I just have never seen anything good about a Taurus. And again, my experience is obviously much more limited than yours, but for me, I can't push the button on either one of those guns.
Well, I totally agree. The trigger pull length is definitely long, but once you get past that, once you're okay with that, the trigger itself, the break and the reset are actually really good. Mm-hmm. And it's a very easy trigger to work. It's got the double strike capability. I mean, right. And I'm not trying to sell. I don't really care.
No, definitely.
Although I've seen some comments out in the crowd that, POS, Taurus, and all that kind of stuff. I think I think that's the wrong way to look at things. I kind of disagree with that philosophically, just simply from, yeah, Taurus had a terrible reputation. I would acknowledge it. I think anybody would acknowledge it. And I think they're getting better. And I think any manufacturer has the opportunity to get better and make better things and change things around. There have been a lot of other guns out there from other manufacturers that have been absolute turds. You've mentioned a couple or one or two from Walther,
Sure.
Right. So every manufacturer makes turds.
Right. And I would say that if I had to choose the Armsman saying CCP over the G2S, I would actually pick that CCP over that. And I just don't like them. I mean, I know what you're saying in regards to every manufacturer makes whatever, and they get better over time. But let's throw the Mossberg in really quick. I think you and I would both agree, and I don't know, Big J, if you've ever, I'm sure you've dry fired it or whatever, but that gun is a solidly built little gun, and the trigger's really good compared to the ones that we've mentioned, whether it's the Security 9 or the Taurus. And I mean, those guns you can find under $300 right now. So I'm starting to wonder, if there was a lot of hype built on the Taurus, because, it's hard not to improve on a gun that's already a piece of crap. You know what I mean by that? So like when you have a Mossberg that comes out, it's the first gun they've made in 100 years, or handgun. And that comes out right out of the gates, and it's already solidly built with a good trigger, decent ergonomics, texturing. It is what it is. But at the same time, I think, to me, that gun offers a much, much broader appeal than a Taurus does. But again, that's just, and that's why we do this. This is why we have these conversations, because we're allowed to disagree. And that's the whole point of this.
Oh, sure. I mean, my point on those is, put it this way. If I had to go on something with those price points, I would go the Shield 1.0 for $249 all day long. If I had to pick one, in that price range. But between the Ruger and the Taurus, and I've shot a Taurus, I don't think it was the C. I know it wasn't, or maybe it was what was the earlier one before the C? It was a double stack, the P111 or something like that?
Yeah, the PT111.
Yeah. Okay, that's the one I shot, and it was freaking horrible. I couldn't stand it. And I have only dry fired the Ruger Security 9 full size. Now, I don't know if they've changed anything on the trigger for the new compact, subcompact. They might have even done a little better with the trigger, maybe. I don't know. But, Ruger, I mean, they've got that warranty that's just, I mean, it's an unbelievable. It's like Smith & Wesson's warranty. I mean, any questions, it's fixed. They pay both ways, and all that. And I know that Taurus, finally changed their warranty to a lifetime warranty. But I don't know. I would probably go, the Ruger, just for the name and, potentially the reliability. And I'm not knocking the Taurus. Anybody that has one, and, I might shoot it and actually like it. I've only pulled the trigger, and I'm just not fond of that trigger.
Yeah, and Ruger, again, its track record, again, I don't know if it's marketing or just lack of interest, but even the Ruger American, the handgun they had, the full size was a beast. That thing was a huge, fat, like heavy gun.
Heavy, yeah.
But the compact, I really like that gun. I still think it's a little way overpriced, but if that gun came down to much more reasonable prices, I could see myself getting a compact in that gun, because it really felt good in the hand. The trigger felt decent. But again, it's so weird how, some guns right out of the box, they're going to sell just because they have the word Glock or CZ or whatever. But then there are other companies that make really good products, and they just don't seem to generate the sales. And even with the M&P line, I mean, aside from the Shield, and I think we can at least all agree that the Shield is probably one of the best single stack guns on the market. But aside from that, even like the 2.0 series didn't really get a big bump, even though a lot of people swear by them. I know, KS, you have your compact still. I have my compact still. Great guns, super reliable, great guns to shoot. But it's just so weird how sometimes, you got these really great guns that nobody pays attention to from reputable manufacturers. And a lot of times you just have to boil it down to, I guess, lack of advertising.
Yeah.
Well, and I think sometimes, though, I remember with the Ruger American in the beginning when it first came out, I know Military Arms Channel did a video on it, and a couple of other bigger channels did as well. And it was largely panned by them. And, say what you will, some of those influencers are influencers for a reason. And when people hear that, it automatically changes the dynamic of something tremendously. All of a sudden, we heard about what was it, striker drag or primer drag or whatever, which was not a thing before somebody said it on a video. And all of a sudden, everybody said it in every comment. Does it have primer drag and everything? Before that, nobody cared. It wasn't a thing. No, it truly isn't a thing. And so I don't know. The American did not impress me at all. I thought it was a bit of a tank, and it was just, to me, it was just kind of slapped together. It wasn't thought out very well, but other people thought it was pretty good. So
yeah, I kind of thought it was like a chunky monkey. I mean, I was like, they could have cut a lot of weight on this thing. And I know that they were talking about, oh, it's got the heavy duty barrel and this is heavy duty and that's heavy duty, but it wasn't a gun that I would carry. And hell, I've carried the 9C a ton, and I thought the 9C was a better setup than the Ruger American, compact personally.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see here. What? Where's that? Oh yeah. Anyone know about the EAA Witness Elite Polymer 1911?
No.
I mean, I've kept up with the EAA Tanfos and stuff like that, but as far as the 1911, polymer, I really haven't kept up with it because I don't have personally any interest in it.
It's $441.
Wow, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
It's a Bud's gun shop.
Okay. Now, let's see here. Music lover saying, does this gun look fat on me? There was a question out here, and it actually was just, I can't remember who said it, but it said Canic and it had question marks. So what's your opinion on Canic guns?
I like them. I mean, I think they're reasonably inexpensive and they seem to work. I know, people had some problems with the TP9 Elite, but other than that, most people have thought they were fantastic. I've had good luck with the ones that I've tested, and they were decent builds. They felt pretty good in the hand. Their triggers are ridiculous. Mm-hmm. That Combat Elite trigger, that might be the best polymer trigger I've ever felt out of the box. And anybody I've given that gun to has said the exact same thing. I mean, it's.
But would you say that is because it's not a Canic trigger?
No, that's not a salient. That's a Canic trigger. That's not one of the salient parts.
Oh, so, it's not?
No,
I thought they went on that gun or went together with that gun. Okay.
But I mean, just super light, super crisp. The reset's ridiculous. Now, is that a very good carry trigger? Probably not. But it is a trigger to experience, I think. Mm-hmm. I think they're good guns. I really do. Some people have a problem with where they're made, but you know what? I think they're a good gun.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't, obviously I was the guy you mentioned having a problem with the Elite. Obviously I had a huge problem with that. They're not bad guns. Is it enough of a gun to buy over something else? And I don't know if they are, for me personally. You look at some of the old Canics that are out there with the decocker and all that other stuff. I'd rather get a Walther P99 if I was going to choose a gun just like that, if it was that type of model. Even with the Elite, I mean, the Elite reminded me a lot of a mixture of a Glock 19 with a Walther PPQ. But I obviously would prefer the PPQ. So I mean, I think they're solidly built handguns when they're functional. I think, for the price, I think it's a good buy, but at the same time, I think you have to be a little leery that there may be something wrong with it. At least that's my own personal, bias towards it, because I had a bad experience with it.
Yeah. I mean, I've owned 2 of them and I don't think they're bad guns. And KS is right. They do have nice triggers. Never had a personal problem with mine. But I just think for the longevity, like if you're really going to shoot the gun a lot and you're potentially going to abuse it and really beat it up, I would rather go with somewhat of a local manufacturer, not so it's have to be shipped off across the world to have it worked on. And then you have to pay to ship it in, because when I got the notification, they're like, oh yeah, we'll warranty it, but you have to pay to ship it in and you have to pay to ship it back. And I was like, are you kidding me? So I would rather, keep the money here and get it fixed here and, just kind of have it like that. So that's just my personal opinion. But if that's the money you've got and that's the gun you like, by all means, buy the damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know,
Yeah.
and I know people bring up, well, it's made in Turkey. Well, okay, so if you have a German gun,
Yeah.
do we not recall the World War II, the Nazis? I mean, or don't buy a German gun because they used to be Nazis.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. That's kind of a silly argument, I guess, but
It
you know,
is.
everybody has their own personal beliefs, and I'm not here to tell you what you should believe and what you shouldn't believe.
Yeah.
That's totally up to you. You know, I buy Italian guns too.
Yeah.
They were once run by fascists.
That's right.
Yep. So I'm saying you could really pick anything and everything apart if you really wanted to. So let's see here.
Everybody's getting mad. Everybody's mad right now in the room. Everybody just take a step back, guys. Relax. Okay. It's just a talk show right now.
And see the armsman is saying that Salient Arms does do the trigger for the Canon Combat Elite.
It's not the trigger. They did the barrel, they did the magwell, they did the barrel thread protector, and they did the sights, and that was it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. Let's see here. Yeah, I just think it all comes down, you know, and I get asked this a lot. I know y'all do too. You know, people, you know, DM me on Instagram and stuff, and they'll be like, "Which gun should I get?" You know, it's a choice between this gun, and this gun. Well, you know, like I can only give opinions, and that's what I try to do. Saying, you know, like, what are you going to use it for? I try to ask questions. I don't go just get that gun, because what works for me might not work for someone else. You know, and that's why I try to get them to go rent it and shoot it and try it, because everyone's different. I might see the sights differently than you're going to see the sights, you know, unless you want to do a whole bunch of changes on it. So you know, it's that question is so hard to answer. You know, guns that we like that, you know, we've been proven or have been proven to us over time, we can definitely recommend it. But, you know, some of the guns, like, you know, that they've asked me about, I'm just like, you know, I personally would never own it, but then again, it might work perfectly for them.
So I'm trying to think of a question. What else do you guys want to talk about, since we've talked about politics, different guns we hate?
Well, I meant to say this. Yesterday I saw the first P10S, P10C optic ready in a store. Put my hands on it. You know, it feels like a regular P10C, but it is optic ready. You know, and you can change the, you know, the slide over, you know, put the F on the C. We already know that. And I thought it was fine. It's just got an optic cut on it now. So I don't see, I'm sorry.
Just really quick, I just want to bring this up, and this will probably piss off more people, but oh well. So it says Kathleen Music Lover is saying, will not support a current regressive government, in my opinion. And that's true. You know, maybe it is your opinion, but here's the newsflash for a lot of people. We currently have a very, very regressive government in the United States. We have a government that literally is taking our rights away from us every single day that we breathe, yet we buy Smith & Wesson, yet we buy Sig Sauer. These are American-made products in a country where our government is progressively taking away our rights. So I just want to throw that out there. Okay. Oh my God, look at all those hats. Did you see all those hats?
Do what? No, REB has asked this question about 900 times, so I guess he's wanting a size comparison. REB is wanting a size comparison between the P10F and the P09. They're exactly the same length on barrels, slides, the same width in slides, same grip length in slides.
Dude, hold it up to the camera.
Same. Oh, no, mine has a comp on it, so I'm moving the comp, or let me do it this way. I mean, they're the same. They look like the same all the way around.
Did you just point those at your face?
I don't know. They're both unloaded. I don't care.
Invisible bullets, Big J.
I know. And actually, I didn't. I went like that. They weren't in my face.
Well, your fan would be dead if there was a real bullet in it there. Damn it.
No, I didn't pull the triggers. Trigger guards are the same. I mean, now you got more rail space on the P09, or a lot more rail space. Serrations. Now this is a wider frame at the front on a wider slide than this because it's beveled. I don't know how well y'all can see that. I mean, they feel the same in the hand. So that's all I know right now. I mean, they both shoot great. So that's what I can say to that.
All right, here we go.
So REB, because he's asked it like 15 times.
That was a great comparison, Big J.
No, sorry.
So I just want to
do what you can on the fly.
Really quick. This is my P10 and my Glock 19X, and oh God.
Oh,
right,
guys.
We do it out of love, everybody.
Wow.
You got thin skin, tough.
Yeah. And see, Dexter even says it. Remember Big J's videos. Always check your chambers. Yes, I do that.
That's right.
That's right. Check those chambers, boys and girls.
Yeah.
Any news on the IWI Masada? No, nothing that I've heard of. Anybody else hear anything on that?
Heard a word about that thing.
Handgun? Let's see. KS.
Oh, that's actually a good question. Johnny Danger. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you going to ask it?
I was gonna, go ahead. Go for it. Do it.
Johnny Danger, KS Gun Guy, 1776 Big Johnson. Are you less likely to buy a Sig Sauer gun given their issues of late?
Well, I will say I took a significant break from Sig Sauer. After the 365, I was tired of it. I was tired of the gun and all the videos and all that kind of stuff. To me, it was overplayed. Whatever. I get it. And it's an interesting gun, but I kind of got over it a little bit.
Do you have it on the table with you?
I took a break. I took a break until recently, and so the X Carry and the X Compact, I've been having a good time with these. The X Compact. I mean, Hurt and I were talking a little bit about that. Hurt, it's worth checking out. But I like the X Carry as well. So it's been fun to get back into the P320s, and I think I may have found one that I'm going to keep. So
what's the difference between the two that you just held up?
Oh, here, should we do another comparison?
Yes, do it.
Yeah, do it like me.
Here we go. No, we're doing it like this. There, you can't. So here's the thing. And I was telling last night on a solo chat that you and the video comes out Saturday. You can't quantify the differences between the two very well, even on video. And I put them up side by side and everything. It's more in the grip than anything else. The grip on the X Compact is substantially smaller. When you grab it, it's almost shocking how small it is, even though it looks relatively similar to the Carry. I mean, it's smaller all the way around except for width, but it really is in that grip circumference, if nothing else. So it's very different. They both feel good in the hand, but just very different.
Yeah.
So if
what do you think, 17? About Sig?
Well, KS, if you had to choose one of those, which would you choose?
He won't tell you. He won't tell you.
I won't tell you that because a couple of people have already asked for if I could only have one. So, and I truly haven't decided yet. I'm enjoying the crap out of both of these. I've enjoyed them a lot. So I don't know.
Thanks for that non-answer. Appreciate it.
Here to help.
He's not going to. I said I was even predicted it. He's not going to tell you.
I know.
Okay, what's your thought, 17, on Sig?
I don't really care for Sig. I mean, if I get my hands on that compact, I'm more attuned to the compact version of that than the Carry version of that. So if one ever becomes available around here so I can get my hands on it, maybe. I would never say never. Let's put it that way. Except for the 365. That's a never.
Personally, I like their 1911s. I think they make pretty nice 1911s. There's nothing, the X5 is kind of cool, but I don't see a need for me to have it personally. And as far as the, like the X Carry, the 320 Carry, I mean, there's not enough difference personally for me, from having the 320 to just up and jump into those. I'm sure that's a great option for a lot of people, but me personally, it just doesn't really do anything for me. That's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would be more apt to buy another CZP10, whether it's the S or the F versus the P320 compact. But I don't know. I really like the F, but there's no point. The gun is so damn big for 10 rounds. It's just not worth it. And obviously, KS must be reading Sheck Jesus.
Oh my God, the Sheck is got to be one of the funniest people I've ever known. That's a fantastic question, and you have to read that out loud.
I'm not reading it. You read it.
All right. Here we go. Shek has posed the most important question of the evening. So, if I could only have one, a heterosexual relationship and a Taurus G2C, or a husband and the CZ Shadow 2.
Okay, now, KS, you have to answer it.
Oh my God! Seriously, sorry.
You got this thing called vibrate. You might want to put it on vibrate.
I can't.
Since you read it, you have to answer it.
Boy, that's really tough. That's really tough.
You have to answer it.
Oh, Shadow 2 is the best gun I think ever made. I'd still go Shadow 2. I'd risk it all. I'd take one for the CZ team, and to make a few people not quite as mad in the crowd who seem to be very upset about earlier comments. But anyway,
I'm totally going Taurus G2C on this one, guys. Sorry.
Well, I'm just going to say, I've got a headache, but I'll take the Shadow 2.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's a funny question.
We have devolved.
Yeah, and I really honestly do. Oh, okay. I really honestly do think that the Shadow 2 is still one of the best guns made. I know there's a lot of other guns out there that are great, and it is a fabulous gun. Hello?
So
hi.
I thought he froze.
I was playing around making a video today that is not going on YouTube at all. Oh, so boy. I have my GoPro out, and I was trying to figure out a way to get a more realistic look on night sights in the daylight as opposed to on a table with lights on my table and shit. So I was outside in my house today wearing this body harness with my GoPro like right here.
You're
pointing my gun, and my neighbor was outside, and I think they were watching me, and I had like 10 handguns out walking around my property. I look like such an asshole, but at the same time, you know what? I watched the video and I said, there's no way this is going up. It was so bad. It was, and I've got to say, to me, like, I haven't been making a lot of videos lately because honestly, guys, I really have nothing to make at this point. And I'm just playing around with some ideas, and I think that's sort of the thing that still keeps me doing this, is just trying to figure out new ways to do things that are not train wrecks. But this was a massive train wreck today. It probably could be used as a blooper reel and would go viral instantly because it was just so horrible.
Well, there you go.
That brings me to my question to both of you. Has there ever been a technique or something you've done where, as you're recording it, you had a good premise, a good idea, and then it becomes just a total flaming ball of shit?
Yes.
What would that be?
This weekend, actually. I started to make a video about 19 and 48, but I didn't want to do an if I could only have one. I was trying to stay away from that format and just do a video, because a lot of people have had comments to, one way or another, a lot of people saying the 48 is a stupid idea. It makes no sense. It has no place, versus other people saying exactly the opposite thing. And I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit. And I probably recorded, I don't know, 25 or 30 minutes worth of video. Obviously edit that down after time, but after a while I was like, God, I've lost the direction of the video. It became aimless, and I knew I can't put that out. If there's not a direction, if there's not a premise, and a storyboard. I mean, I storyboard all my videos, and this one I just turn on the camera. I was like, screw it, I'll do something different. I'll do something a little bit more ad hoc, whatever. It turned into a pile of poo really quickly. And that was, a half an hour plus whatever pre-work time that I did just wasted.
Yeah. I would just say all my videos. No, to pick one video out, like, I mean, I guess that I had, I put it this, here's one, because I was a moron. I reached over and thought I turned the camera on, and it was probably, I don't know, 10 or 12 minute video, and I didn't even have the damn camera on. And, I mean, I know that's probably happened to everybody, or, maybe a few times, but I can't just pick out one. I've got a few train wrecks out there.
So that brings me into the follow-up, and then we'll close it out after that. But KS, you said you storyboard everything. So let me ask you guys, do you script what you do? Do you script it?
Go ahead, Chaos.
And I've been doing this for probably not a year now, but I script the intro and I script the shooting sequence. And the reason I do that, there are very specific things I want to say. And in the intro, I try and do some sort of history thing about the gun, or a little history about me with the gun or something like that, and some minor teases to the experience going through the video. And then the shooting experience, there's some things that I really want to make sure that I get across, because I've learned that people really want to know about things like recoil impulse and sights, if they're point of aim, point of impact, things like that. So I want to address those things very specifically and get those out there. So if somebody makes a comment and says, you never said a thing about blah, 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 I can say, I said it in the video, watch the video, you know, or whatever. So yeah, I script those. Everything else is completely ad hoc, but everybody knows I follow a pretty strict format. So I know all the sequences that I do, and I know in certain parts, this is where I talk about the slide, or this is where I talk about the frame or the disassembly, except for the staccato C, which I will never live down. The trigger, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty methodical about that. And some people probably will get tired of that over time, but I like that because I like that consistency, and it forces me to remember to do all of those things. And those are things that are important to me in a video. When I watch videos, I want to know that stuff. So I do that as well.
What about you, Big J?
The only thing I write down is like the stats of the gun, like maybe length, weight, and usually I'll double weigh it, you know, just to make sure on my scales, because I've had, you know, like I've had it where the manufacturer says it's 25 ounces, but it's really 27 ounces. You know, they're just trying to, so it's the lightest gun or whatever. So, I mean, I just double check the weight, but I just write down the stats, and then all the rest is just me. I mean, you know, and I really don't do 2 and 3 takes. You just get what you get. I know that might not be professional, but that's just me. And I try to be human, you know, so we all make mistakes, and that's what I do.
Yeah. For myself, I don't script anything. Everything just comes right out. Whatever happens, happens. I mean, there are a lot of times where the video will be going great, and then I say something that is not even close to what needs to be said. And then that's it. Then the curse fest begins. I got to shut everything down and then re-record everything. You know, it's sort of laziness, I guess, on my end, because I don't want to script anything. And at the same time, I don't want to edit anything too deeply where I have to cut the footage and stuff. So I try to do it in one take if I can. A lot of times I'll go through my head as to what I want to do on the video, and I just, boom, do it. And I think it's fairly obvious.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. You know, but other than that, that's what we do. And I guess so far we've been doing it okay. So yeah, we'll see how future holds. So any parting words from any of you gentlemen here, as it is now 8:57. We have 3 minutes, so I will give each of us 1 minute. Go.
Go ahead, Chaos.
Well, a couple things. First, thank you everyone for joining us on this very interesting chat. It's always interesting on here. It'll be interesting to go back and kind of watch this and hear some of the different feedback on it. But yeah, lots of fun stuff coming up. It's going to be a busy next probably 3 or 4 months. Very backlogged, trying to get through a lot of stuff. So it's going to be an interesting time for a while.
Yeah, I've got a lot of gear that I'm trying to catch up on, reviews, stuff I've been testing. And if you follow us on Instagram, you know, we'll throw a lot of stuff on Instagram that we're testing. Some I've been testing for like a month or so or longer. Really liking those little shield extensions, you know, they seem to be working really well. So I've got some of that stuff coming out. I'll be shooting a competition in 2 weeks. I got to sign up for it this Sunday, and got something totally different going on there. So, but that's kind of what I have going. So stay tuned.
All right. Very good, gentlemen. And again, thank you all for joining us. I think we had over 100 people here tonight.
Awesome.
So I'm assuming that means we're doing a good job. But as always, we appreciate you guys coming out and joining us on Wednesday night. You know, things in the works. You know, as soon as I can get that Beretta, God knows how long that'll be. But hopefully that'll be sooner than later. And that's about it right now. Nothing else really crazy going on. Just maybe doing some shooting soon. That's about it.
Good.
So I think that's it for us tonight, guys. And wish you all the best. Hopefully your health is doing well and you are spending time with people that matter. So again, guys, thanks for joining us. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight as well. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks, everyone. Carry on.
See ya.